Okay. I think that's working now. Maybe? Boy, I sure do love technical difficulties. I sure do love them. Yep, I do. Adoos, adoos, adoos. Well, hi. Hello, folks. How's it going? Sorry, I was having some audio issues, which turned into me just not having my headphone jack plugged all the way in. Because, yep. Oh, is it? Oh, geez, not again. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Is that better? Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, OBS is doing some weird things. Like some really weird things. Like if I have one mic set up, it doesn't show up in my mixer. But if I have two, it'll show up in my mixer. I don't understand what's going on. So, yeah. Hi. I'm glad we got that sorted out early enough. How's it going, dudes? How's everybody feeling going into the weekend? Or if you are across the world from me, how are you feeling already in the weekend? I am ready for weekend. Yes. Finals. Oh, that's right. It's exam season, isn't it? Yeah. Exam season's always fun. Don't be like me and be the student that always forgets when exam season is while you're a student. So that was always me. Am I going to upload this live stream later? Yes, all of my live streams go into my live stream playlist. They get unlisted after a while, but you can still find them all on the playlist. So even if you can't find them on like the videos tab in my channel, you can definitely find them. Oh, wait, I have the wrong team up. You can find them in the playlist. Whoopsie. I don't want this team. I can't change while you're shooting at me. Are they gone? They're gone. Okay, cool. Can you have Ito, please? You can have an Ito, yes, but you can't have mine. This one I worked really hard on. Stat-wise, he's my pride and joy. If I was waiting for a dead patch to finish some videos, does the 2.7 patch delay count? Yes, it does. Kind of. Wow, he just, like, backflipped underwater. That's fun. It kind of does. It's just that, like, it's currently rumored at, like, 3 weeks or something. I think that's the kind of speculations I've seen going around, and we don't know if that time will increase or decrease, or if that's even gonna be the amount of time. I kind of wanted a whole patch, but I'm not sure a patch delay really counts as a dead patch, to be fair. The other thing is I'm still trying to finish up Chasm videos and stuff, like the preliminary ones. I don't, like, some of the things that I wanted to do for a dead patch, I'm still not going to be able to do. Oh, right, my thing's up top. I have to climb the skull. So we'll see. It's just that, like, I wanted a whole dead patch because I wanted to get out all of my Chasm videos, and then I wanted to go into some non-recent events related videos, including, like, updating some of my older videos and my older theories with new information, because I think that would be really cool. Like, little things like that, but I don't think I can do that for this little delay that we have. I still have a whole lot of stuff to talk about. Like, I haven't even touched Iridori yet. I don't have so much, like, a theory to pass around with Iridori, but I think it's still a good thing to cover. Because events in general in Genshin tend to be kind of like preview of main plot points later on. And I really want to talk about Kazuha. So, yep. And then I also want to do a new Sumeru speculations video. That's something I want to do. I get the feeling that we're going to have some more Sumeru news in some recent times, so I'd like to get that out soon-ish. And then I really want to do a whole video just on mushrooms. Which sounds weird when I say it out loud. Sounds really weird when I say it out loud. What do you think of the theory about Celestia destroyed Konamiya because their tech advancement might catch the attention of Honkai? I don't think it has anything to do with technology, to be quite honest with you. Like, there's nothing in the game that suggests that technology has anything to do with it, because if that's so, then Fontaine is next, because they are pretty technologically advanced.
Hey, cut to the chase. Observe. Strike is one.
So,
Brace yourself. Think you can get away?
yeah. Hi.
Nowhere to hide.
Before anyone says anything about my Kaching, she's level 20. So, I don't want to hear anything about my Kaching. Or my Kaching playing. Because she's only level 20, I still haven't played her that much. So... Whee! Ow. Oh, he's dead. Okay, we're good. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with technology. The whole Celestia killing Konria thing. I think it's all to do with knowledge and secrets and everything else. And that's part of the reason why I think Sumeru is going to be such a big deal in general. Because, like, that place is the, city of knowledge. Did I do 3? And I just didn't realize it? Or did I do 2? I guess I did 3. And I just didn't realize it. Okay. Oh, wait. I always have to check that little Jinren Island over there, because I always miss that one. Sarah, in your research, did you come across how Zamoran is named after a half-snake creature from folklore in Iran? No, I didn't, because I haven't started my research yet. Wait, where am I going? Where am I going? Oh, he's over here. Oh, no, it's the shrine one. I don't want to do the shrine one. I don't have a choice. Let's go talk to the kid. Did's nuts. Guys, please don't spam questions in chat. I am gonna be asking for questions and stuff at some point. So if I don't see your question, don't worry about it. I will definitely be asking for questions, and I will see those questions at that point. So don't worry so much about that.
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Because if too many people spam questions in chat, I'll just turn slow mode up to, like, being able to make a post, like, every 2 minutes, and I don't think anyone's gonna like that. Call me Mim. Does Bubble Universe consider a parallel universe? So is a Bubble Universe the same as a parallel universe? No, it's kind of... Oh, it's complicated. It's complicated. I'm also probably not the right person to answer that. But, like, I think it's better to think of them as a pocket dimension, honestly. Like, sometimes they can run parallel, but I think it's better to think of them as pocket dimensions. But, like, separate from the current universe that you're in. It's hard to explain without having context of, like, the imaginary tree and everything else. So I wouldn't... Don't take that as like a proper definition. Sixth year, don't post questions, but you answer questions. I'm confused. It's not that I'm not asking people to post questions. I'm saying don't spam questions, because sometimes people will copy and paste the same question into chat over and over again, like every 20, 30 seconds. And that's what I'm asking people not to do. Yeah. Mao, do you think the different tribes of Hilichurls reflect different civilizations that have been destroyed by Celestia? Yes. I think so. I think that's a pretty safe assumption, actually.
Thank you for Ad Astra.
Hilichurls are kind of interesting because, like, they've been around for thousands of years. And there's one Hilichurl tribe in particular that is very Conrian in kind of like, oh, I don't want to say like aesthetic, but like just in terms of some of the references that they make, they're very Conrian. But in other ways, some of the other tribes have nothing to do with Conria, so it's not fair to assume that all of them are Conrian Hilichurls, you know? So I think it's pretty safe to call all the different Hilichurl tribes probably different civilizations, or even different nations, because Conria isn't. I guess you. It's weird because then you have to define a civilization versus like a nation's culture, and in all technicality, yeah, Conria is kind of not like its own civilization. It's just like a different nation. But you could also make a case for calling it its own civilization. It's weird. It's weird. I'm not doing ley lines. I do not need anything from ley lines. Alrighty, I think today is a Yanfei day. Is today a Yanfei day? I think today is a Yanfei day.
Next time, be sure to make a proper appointment.
Okay, I might have to turn off requests here. Because, yep. Do we just keep this one? I guess we keep this one. This is fine. Wait, what do you have? Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. We're good. We're good. I need to get used to using a witch set anyway. Okay, listen. I'm not co-oping right now. I don't wanna. I also don't remember where this is. Crap. I never do anything in here. Nope, I don't remember where it is. I don't remember where the settings are. Is it like actually in settings? I have no idea. I've only been in there once. Don't judge me. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's in the co-op menu. Oh. That's why. Okay. We're just gonna turn that off now. Okay. That makes more sense. Alright, I'm going. I'm going. Yeah, right. Okay. Approximately how long does it take you to get all of your info for your videos? Oh man, that's so video dependent. That really depends on what the video is and how long it is and how much real world kind of stuff I actually want to put into it. All of that matters. No.
Crew, that silver.
I died. That's fun. That's fun. Oh, that was also funny. Poor Beto. Poor Beto. Am I stun locked? I'm stun locked. I think she just blew herself up on a barrel too. That's the best part. Oh. Shinha is stunned. Don't like stunned. Stop it. Okay, let there we go. My bad. I hate getting overloaded. Like a lot. Like a lot. It's so not fun. Do I think Daughter is going to be based off of Eden from Honkai since they share the codename Gold? No, I still think Daughter is Einstein. But for probably some completely unrelated reasons. Like, I know they both have the same codename, and so it's very possible. But, like, Eden doesn't have anything else in common with Daughter besides the name. And so I'm hesitant to draw any more, comparisons with her, you know? Ow. Nope. Run! Running very fast. IP Coffee, thank you so much for the super chat. And with an appropriate emoticon while you're at it. Wait, where'd he go? Come back here. That's not fair. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't just decide I'm out of bounds. You're the one who moved, not me. Mean. I don't like that. Super like that. Timothy, is there any chance you could tell us your Paimon theory now, or is that being saved for a video waiting is hard? Which Paimon theory? You're gonna have to be more specific than that, because I have a lot of theories. Like, a lot of theories. I've already made, like, 3 Paimon theories. They're just, like, never about only Paimon. They're always about other things that just happen to involve Paimon at some point. The what is Paimon? Oh. No, that one's not gonna get made, because I have some other ideas, and I don't think that one actually works anymore. So, as a result, not making that one. We've just gotten new information, and because we've gotten new information, like, I have to update my theories to match. So that one's not getting done. Yeah. Bennett, who is Einstein? Look up Einstein from Honkai Impact and you'll see. It's almost impossible for me to just, like, verbally describe. You just have to go see, and you'll probably understand a little bit why I think she might be Daughter. But Daughter is like this really skilled alchemist, right? Well, Einstein is a very skilled scientist, engineer, physicist kind of thing. And in Honkai, not talking about the real scientist. We're talking about a female Einstein. Okay, just to clarify here. And there's just a lot that they have in common. So I'm going with that.
Rain cutter. Rain outlines your fate. Back off. Motion to compel.
Yeah. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
Time for your arraignment. Incinerate.
There is also the other scientist in Honkai, Mobius. Yeah, she's a pretty good candidate too. I'm not convinced it's Mobius just because I feel like Daughter has some other inspirations and other roles that she plays that I don't think Mobius fills very well. I think there's some other things that will be saved for her, but that's just my opinion right now. I know Eden is literally connected to Gold because that's her nickname, but like that is the only thing that they have in common. They don't have anything else in common, so I'm not convinced about that. Like, okay, let me give you an example. All right, so in Gun Girl Z, which is one of the games that came before Honkai Impact, there was a character called Yisring, and Yisring is both Mobius and Einstein in Honkai Impact. Like, she was split into two characters. So I don't think it's good to just automatically assume that just because someone shares an inspiration that there's only going to be one character to represent them, or that a character is only going to be based on one influence, or that there's going to be like a one-to-one comparison. There are some exceptions to that. But even in the case of like Raiden Mei, she's actually referencing multiple characters and not just the Raiden Mei that you see in Honkai. She's also referencing in some ways Dr. Mei. And also different personalities that are part of Mei too. So like that's what makes this complicated. So I'm not convinced that it's just straight up Eden. And that's yeah, that's that. Anywho, that's my current question queue. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat now. And I will find them. Sarah, Shamaran in Iran folklore. The story goes that the man named Kamazb, oh, I'm going to say that so wrong, met her when he got lost in a cave, and they fell in love, but the king became ill and needed Shamaran's flesh to get better. That's not creepy at all. Yes, let's go eat the magical talking mushroom. Sounds like a fantastic idea. That sure worked out well for Alice in Wonderland, didn't it? She ate so many mushrooms. Memi, do you think Genshin and Honkai will ever cross paths story-wise? No, not literally. I think there will be references. Obviously, I think there will be references, but I don't think that it's gonna be like a direct thing. I think it'll be subtle. So I feel like if we're gonna see any sort of Honkai inspiration in Genshin, like a direct connection, it's gonna be really loose. And I feel like the only way you're gonna know that it's a deliberate Honkai connection is if you played Honkai. Like, I don't think it's gonna be necessary to have played. Call me Mim. When Alice said the last time an Outlander visited Tevat was centuries ago, is that the Travelers? It could have been, because the Travelers would have been here at least 500 years ago. Because they were present for the Cataclysm. So it's very possible. But I don't know that we know that. And is that line the one where she's talking about Aloy? Because if that's the case, like, I don't really know how to tie Aloy into things. Really don't. Hey, Potato! Thanks so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. From 1 to 10, what's your favorite alphabet? Futhark. Does that fit on theme? I think that fits on theme. I'll give that a 9. I'll give that a 9 because, Norse mythology reasons. All right, that was funnier in my head than I thought it would be actually saying it out loud. To be fair. Naga, what do you think of the four-armed Yaksha that disappeared in the chasm? Do you think the Yaksha... Oh dear, it moved. Will be related to anything majorly important in the main story? Okay, so I wanna say a couple of things about the Yaksha, and part of the reason why I haven't made the video on the Yaksha yet is because there's a few things that I'm confused about in terms of the Yaksha. So, at least... Yeah. 2 Yaksha plus Shao survived. Right now, it seems like both female Yaksha are dead, and all 3 male Yaksha have lived. Or at least didn't die on screen. That's a better way to put it. They did not die on screen. So Shao is alive. Obviously, because he's playable. The purple Yaksha, the Electro Yaksha, appears to have vanished. And then the Geo Yaksha also never had anything happen to him on screen. And we did some investigation and kind of came to the conclusion that it's possible that multiple Yaksha were actually present in the chasm. And at least one of them died inside of it. And it's possible that the Electro Yaksha was the one that died inside of it because the Geo Yaksha, from which the Tenacity of the Middle set looks like it might be based off of, solely because of aesthetic reasons. That one... Hang on. I got distracted. We'll look at that set in a second. That set seems to imply that there were multiple Yaksha. And because that set is the Geo Yaksha, I think that was one of the ones that they're referencing as, like, being the strength of the Millilith. And I also think that that's the Yaksha that sealed his treasure in Liwa. Like, if you fix the light actuator, you can access his treasure. So, let's see. That would make the Electro Yaksha Bonanus and the Geo Yaksha Bosacius. I'm going to butcher these names, I'm sorry. That makes the Hydro Yaksha Indarius and I forgot the last one. Agnes something. I forget. That'd be the other female Pyro Yaksha. So I feel like the Electro Yaksha is probably dead. Because he has an artifact set at this point. So that might be the story that we explore. But I do think we actually have the potential to see the Geo Yaksha alive and wandering around. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But I feel like I need more information. So I'm hoping whenever the next patch happens to come that it'll have some Yaksha lore. Because I would really like some. Yeah. Why isn't there a Cryo Yaksha? Well, there's not a Cryo Yaksha or a Dendro Yaksha. But here's the thing. The 5 Yaksha in that tale are not all of the Yaksha that there ever were. They were just 5 of the Yaksha that signed a contract with Rex Lapis. So this is kind of an important detail because it does mean that, like, the Yaksha exist beyond just those 5, and that there may be a Cryo Yaksha, and that there may be a Dendro Yaksha that we just haven't met yet because they never signed a contract with Rex Lapis. The thing is, Morax also has his own artifact set. Yaimiko has her own artifact set. Kitsune Saigyu has her own artifact set. She's dead. A has her own artifact set. It's like the artifact set representing dead characters isn't 100%. But I also want to point out one thing about artifacts, which may or may not come as a surprise to some people. But I've had a theory for a while that the Fatui are made up entirely of people who should be dead. I think I've said this before on stream, so this shouldn't come as a surprise to some of you. Some of you it might be a little bit of a surprise. But if you really think about it, Senora is supposed to be dead, right? Like, she was supposed to literally dissolve into flames and lose her entire body and just vanish, like, until there was nothing left, not even ashes, right? So, that's one. And then Scaramouche was never supposed to wake up, which is, as far as I'm concerned, as good as dead. He was supposed to be dead. He was supposed to be killed and burned, probably in a furnace. Whoops. That guy always comes at me like crazy. Hi. So in some ways, Scaramouche should be dead. Because he should have either A, never woken up, or B, you know, he should have probably not survived the ordeal with Katsuragi and co. And Dottore should probably also be dead because I believe he was chased out of town by like a really angry mob for his, shall we call it work? And then Piero should be dead because, well, he's supposedly from Konamiya, and Konamiya is all supposed to be dead. So when you start to kind of go down the list and look at that, and Child is also supposed to be dead because he fell into the abyss, right? Like, he probably wasn't supposed to survive that. And that's why his eyes are dead inside, because he was also probably supposed to be dead. But, like, when you start to think about it that way, like, the Fatui feel kind of more like a group that are defying fate in a way, and the Harbingers are those who have defied their death. And so in some ways you could say that Scaramouche is dead, and that's why he has an artifact set, and you could make a case for that, but then you couldn't really explain why, like, Morax has an artifact set and why A has an artifact set because they're not dead, and, you know, things like that. But I digress. Yeah. It's a theory I'm working on, but I feel like I need a couple more Harbingers in order to prove the point. Ow. Don't do that to me. Don't throw things at me, that's so rude! Rude! Why aren't there 12 Harbingers? There are, there's the Tsaritsa. There's 11 Harbingers in the Tsaritsa for 12. Alrighty, I'm gonna open the chat up to questions again, because I went through my previous queue, I think. Unless there were some that sped by and I didn't see them because I was busy going off on a really long tangent. That's gonna happen a lot. Noah, what do I think about the Dainsleif as Piero theory? Honestly, it's believable to a degree. I think that would be one of the biggest and well-received twists. I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, that we've seen him interact with the Fatui, and I don't think we've seen him comment on the Fatui, and I have to go check my notes on that, because I could be totally wrong. But I think it's interesting that he's only showing up in side stories, and that he's portrayed in the Travail trailer as being one of the final bosses, and he, you know, he's just some random guy from Konamiya, really. So it doesn't feel like he should be so big as to be the final boss. But it would also kind of suit him as a... Ow. Oh, I thought I was going to miss that. Oh, well. It would kind of suit him thematically if he also defied death, and that's why he's part of the Harbingers and looking for other Harbingers who have managed to defy fate. Because that's so on theme with him. So, I like the theory. I hope there's some merit to it. I'd like to explore it further and see if like there's anything else I can dig up on it. But yeah. It's a cool theory. Give me all this stuff. All of this stuff is mine. Surity, yeah, if you have any information on Zamaran, put it in a comment, would you, so that I can go back to it later, cuz like I'll lose it in chat. I will totally lose it in chat. If you can put it in a comment, that would be awesome. I can always go back to comments. But if you do want to continue to share your findings in chat, by all means, feel free. I will just probably not see most of it. Oh, I missed. Where'd he go? Don't run away from me. So mean.
Rain outlines your fate.
Oh, I see a couple of nice one in here. Nessie, okay, a question. How do you keep the notes on what factors do you focus on most? Okay, so here's the thing about notes. I don't know how to take notes, okay? I really, really don't know how. I started trying to take notes and then realized I just couldn't take notes. I not even in college I could take notes. I remember I almost failed. Well, I didn't actually fail, but I almost failed a class once because we were required to turn in our notebooks at the end of the semester for like half of our grade. And I had no idea how to take notes because I've never taken notes in my life. Because I have a good memory. And even if I can't remember like what the facts were, I always remember where those facts were. So I can go find them. So it's a weird thing. But so for Genshin, what I tend to do is I'll tend to start with an idea. Like I'll have a theory. Or I guess a hypothesis or a question might be a better place because it's not really a theory until you flesh it out a little bit. So I'll start with a hypothesis or a question or an idea, and then I'll just go and read whatever I can about it in game or on the wiki, or I'll go like rewatch relevant cutscenes and stuff, depending on what the idea is about. And then I'll just start highlighting things. And I'll put those things in, I put those things in a Word document in a long bulleted list. But those bulleted lists are basically broken out into different aspects of the idea rather than notes. So for example, if I'm looking at mushrooms, one of the ideas that I have about mushrooms is that they're actually what the ley line network is made of. Like it's supposed to be a mycorrhizal network made up of like a mycelium kind of thing. So what I might do is I might go start on Wikipedia and I might look up, mycelium network, and I'll look for keywords and things that sound like it matches ley lines, and I'll like copy and paste sections of it into my document in little bulleted list formats under little subheadings, and then like just keep going from there. And then the theories kind of form themselves because you can just cut and paste and move bullets around. And then you just flesh out the words in between. So that's how my note-taking works. Sometimes I have multiple of those documents going at the same time. And in the end, I end up with, like, no notes. I end up with a fully fledged written, several thousand-word theory that has highlighted sections in it where I put the source material in comments. So if you ever end up looking at any of my documents... for whatever reason, you will find that I have all of my sources, citations, and notes written in, hey look, spin crystal. You'll notice that I have them all put in, like, Ghoul.comments, which is fun. Yeah. I have a few of these to get through. Anna, what are your thoughts on people manipulating elements without a vision? It seems Ayaka's recent video adds support to the idea that visions were never needed in the first place. I'm not sure Ayaka's story does that, but Senora's does. Because Senora was able to wield flames without a vision, as far as anyone knows. And she was able to, like, basically turn herself into molten something. A molten bug. That's a weird mental image when you don't know it's about Senora. Yes and no. I think what Ayaka's video proved is that the vision granting process comes on gradually, and it may not be perfectly instant, meaning the vision might not manifest and then you get elemental powers. You might start developing some sort of elemental control and then you receive a vision. Which I think makes some sense. It just depends on how you want to rationalize the fact that someone's getting elemental powers. Are you going to rationalize it on the fact that humans can wield elemental powers, like, naturally, and they're just learning how, and then visions are kind of like, oh, have you been under my chair the whole time? Just ripped a whole chunk of fur out of your butt. Kitty, come here. No, he's mad. He's mad. He's mad. Well, I don't blame him. Yeah, well, he shouldn't be under my chair. This happens every time. I lost my train of thought. Oh, right. So it depends on whether you think that visions are like a cap on someone's elemental capacity. Like if someone learns how to control visions, or sorry, learns how to control the elements on their own, like a vision is suddenly put into place as, you know, some sort of limiter on their power. That could be a thing. But it could also be interpreted as only some humans have the capacity to wield elemental powers, and as soon as they start showing signs, a vision kind of marks them as being able to wield those powers. So it just depends on how you see that intention. But I do think that humans, at least some of them, do have the capacity to wield elemental energy. For sure. Like, I don't even think that's debatable anymore. I think that's just a fact. Sorry, that's her name. It's just really fun to say. Are we going back to the past at some point? You know what? I think we might. But, you know, I'm actually kind of thinking that the Konamiya chapter might be listed as chapter ? Because it doesn't actually have a place in the sequential chapter storyline that we have set up for, you know, the current 7 nations that we have. And instead of it being the final chapter, it might actually be a chapter that we experience over and over again. Or that we have to experience, like, in a bizarre order. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but, like, say we go back to the past, and technically that takes us to the beginning of the game again, right? Because Konamiya is technically the start of our whole adventure in a lot of ways, because that is where we first enter the game, is with the twins trying to leave Tevat while Konamiya is being destroyed, right? So that's kind of the beginning of the game, but it's also the end of the game, so it could mark the start and the end of a loop if we go the time travel loop theory. So I do think, like, to some extent, we will go into the past again. But I hope it's not like a literal time travel, go back to the past. I hope it's like reliving the past, but like whatever you do there, it's kind of inevitable because it's already happened. We just get to see it firsthand. That's kind of more what I like, because I don't like time travel stories for the sheer reason that, like, they never solve paradoxes well. And it always ends up being a mess, or you get, like, divergent timelines, and it's always such a nightmare, and so I always hate when they do that, but
No need to fear it on the
yeah.
open ocean, so there's even less
That's what I think.
fear it on dry
Naga, I have this mini theory. Do you think the traveler could become some sort of god, like the god of fate, because of the character details noticed? It said, "You shall ascend." Yeah, I think so. I think we're already technically deities. It might be that we need to reach our full potential, or maybe we have to literally ascend so that we can go somewhere. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that the twins in general have to be some sort of deities. They have to be. Nothing makes sense if they're not. If they're just normal humans, or even like just normal Sealies or something, like something's weird. That would just strike me the wrong way. But also, the idea of them being some sort of divinity is also a little bit strange in terms of like the plot and the messaging in Genshin of like humans seizing their own destiny. Because as a traveler, we're making all this big impact and doing so many things, and if we're a god, then technically God is doing everything for them. So I'm not really sure how to reconcile that messaging, except for the fact that if you look at parallels between, like, say, the battle between Osail and then the battle between Beisht, Osail was beaten by the Traveler, so divinity, but Beisht was not, technically. Beisht was beaten by Shinha, technically, I think. Like, I know we fought it, but it kind of kicked our ass first, and then Shinha did lots more work. So you could kind of look at it as like we're progressing through the story in a way that humans are learning how to be separate and not reliant on divinity, and I think that would be kind of cool. But I have no idea how they would like really properly execute that in a way that still makes gameplay engaging and makes us feel like we're still making an impact. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure how to reconcile that, but as far as the Travelers being divinity, yep. Whether we are or we're like in the process of becoming that, or yeah, like that's gonna be a thing for sure. I don't know how they do it any other way, but Jerry, do you think we could be possible that Bennett is from Natlan, given how similar he looks to the character from the story preview trailer? Yeah, I remember a really neat theory about Bennett actually being, I think, mentioned in the Lava Walker set, but I think that got disproven, but it was such a cool theory. Yeah, I think it's possible that he's from Natlan. We've already got some evidence of, Natlan citizens, or, people from Natlan being integrated into Mondstadt. So I think that is very possible. It would also explain why he has no parents or history, or, well, he's got like a lot of dads now, but, biological ones that we know of. Bennett's interesting, just in general, and maybe I'll finally get to do a Bennett analysis video. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. If on the Teyvat chapter storyline trailer we have a field of Intivat, so we can assume that is in Conria, but there we have sky. Maybe Conria was not truly underground. Yeah, that part's like really up to interpretation, because like if you look underneath the flowers, you're not actually standing on ground either. You're actually standing on a sea of stars. And the flowers are growing out of like a sea of stars. So I don't know quite how to reconcile that. What I've kind of come to the conclusion of, although this is obviously subject to change because it's just an idea at this point, I've kind of come to the idea that Conria might be a successor generation, meaning that the Intivats might not have been from Conria necessarily, but the civilization that came before them. And then Conria built a nation on top of that civilization and the Intivats happen to be there, which means that they may not be technically native to Conria, but there might be something that Conria shares, like some sort of aspect Conria's location shares with the location that the Intivat are from. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, because that scene in the Travail trailer doesn't really make sense otherwise. Unless all of Teyvat is technically underground inside of a planet. And Conria is the one that is, you know, above ground, like on the proper surface. That is also a possibility. There's too many options. There's too many options. There really is. That's the problem. Ren, I recently found out that Jean has a voice line where she calls the king of Conria as the hero king of Conria, and she seems to respect him, but the artifacts suggest royals are fools. Yes? I don't... Is there a question there that you're trying to work through? Because both things can be true. Whether or not someone's foolish is kind of relative. Piano Classico. Who do you think the statues in the chasm and Konamiya holding a grail represent? Probably Istaroth. She makes the most sense. Yeah, she makes the most sense. That's it. That was a simple answer. I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to say on that one. I need to catch up with chat. I think I'm like really behind, but so if you guys could pause questions, that would be nice so I can catch up, because I am very, very, very behind. Simtrick, do you believe that visions let you control powers like some sort of vessel to channel your power, because Signora essentially burnt out? Same with delusions. I feel like I kind of said my piece on visions. Like I did a whole video on visions at one point. I can give you a really simple answer, which I think I kind of did when we were talking about Ayaka and her ability to wield elemental energy without a vision, and Signora's whole thing. But I have a much more complicated answer, but it involves a lot of Honkai knowledge of what I actually think is going on. So I don't really know if I want to get into that one, to be honest with you. Just because, like... Yeah. How do I make that, like, really simple? I think visions are seeds. God seeds, baby gods, fetuses. How's that? There's not a simpler way to put it, and that's probably going to make you have more questions, but I don't care. That's what you're getting. I don't want to explain my whole Honkai theory. Oh, maybe this patch is a good time to actually put that one together. I just don't want to. Every time I open that document, I'm like looking at like 15 pages of bulleted lists of notes and things to mention, and then I just close the tab again. Like, nope, not today. Not today. Never again. No, it'll happen. It'll happen. It'll happen. Lav Winter Bear, after watching your latest video, I had this thought. What if the Skyfrost nail is from the primordial one, or what remains of the first throne, to help Teyvat from what caused by second throne? Yeah, that's possible. It's very possible that you know, the nails don't even have anything to do with anything going on Teyvat. They could have just been accidents. They could have been, you know, pieces of heaven that fell accidentally that weren't actually cast down. They could be the opposite. They could be the result of the second who came. And they need to be removed from the earth, like you know, like a bullet wound. You got to remove the bullet, let the thing heal properly. Like there's a lot of possibilities there. All of them equally possible, because, you know, yeah. I'm gonna go over here to the chasm areas kind of thing, because this is my least explored area.
If you ever want to trade tactics, I'm always ready.
Niter, where did the traveler come from? Visitor from another world, or have it been retconned to be from Conria? If they are from Conria, why are they so biologically different? The twins are not from Conria. I think we need to work kind of hard to dispel that myth. As far as anyone knows, they are not from Conria. They landed in Conria, and it's possible that they are from Teyvat or from the area which Conria now occupies. But there's nothing to suggest that they're actually from Conria directly. Other than that, we don't really know where they came from, like, for sure. But the amount of things that they have in common with what they can do in Teyvat kind of implies that they're probably native to this planet at the very least. And that they left for a long period of time and then found their way back here. That's kind of where I'm at currently with the twins and where they're from. It just doesn't... They've crossed the Celestial Atlas. Like, they've gone across the universe and back again. Like, I'm pretty sure at this point... Can I really not hit them from there? I'm pretty sure at this point that they are not, you know, from Conria. What did you hit me with? These people are so rude. They hoard all the treasures to themselves, and then they just hit me with it. They just throw things at me. It's like I'm getting heckled at a stand-up comedy show. Do you think that Genshin might get a timeline split and have 2 canonical timelines, or even 3 like Ocarina of Time? I hope not. I honestly think the timeline split in Ocarina is one of the... Okay. I think what the timeline split in Ocarina of Time is one of the most annoying things, because it doesn't take into account all of the different possibilities. And there's actually, like, evidence that there should be a 4th timeline. And in the 4th time, like, the timelines in Zelda were added post games. Like, none of them were ever supposed to be connected like that, not directly. And then they were supposed to be like, okay, well, here's Breath of the Wild. We're going to fix the timeline thing because it never should have been a thing in the first place. And we're kind of sick of it. So let's make, like, an actual thing. And then they went and made Age of Calamity, and then they split it again for some godforsaken reason. So I don't think we're going to get a timeline split. I think at best we're looking at having to deal with a time loop in Genshin inside of Teyvat. Like, there's something about Teyvat that causes time to go funky. We have enough evidence of funky time shenanigans that that's a possibility, but I really hope there's nothing else, because that would be so incredibly annoying. Okay. No, I said deploy. It is not my fault you do not register button clicks. Okay. Okie dokes. Put you here. Smack. Really? Really? Ushi can't activate these things? Oh my god. That makes me so sad. Also, Ito, what the hell? Oh wait, this isn't one of the pulsey things, that's why. I'm just dumb. It's okay. Guys, it's okay. I can be dumb. It's fine. That's allowed. It's allowed because I said it's allowed. That's how things work around here. I forgot there were the pulsey thingies, and then there's the lighty thingies, and yeah. Anyway. Emperor Maxwell, what do you think Shinha's power actually comes from? Well, we know what her power comes from. She's trained by the Adepti, so she has like a mix of Adeptal powers from her cultivation, and then she has her vision. So it's a combination of both. She's kind of like a Ganyu in a way, because while she doesn't really have any Adeptal blood in her, she's kind of half and half in a lot of ways. Like, Ganyu has her Adeptal energy stuff, and then she has her, and then she has her vision, right? And Shinha has the same thing. But that's why Shinha's head is white, like her hair. Her hair is white because of her cultivation as an Adeptal apprentice. Railgun, do you think the travelers are from the primordial civilization? Their design matches the login screen area, and they are the only ones who can reconnect waypoints to the leyline network. Yes, I do. Yep. I do think that they're from that era, because I do personally think that they're from Teyvat. It doesn't make sense to me for them to be from anywhere else. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that I do think that Genshin can be connected not necessarily to Honkai Impact, but to Honkai Star Rail, which might be very confusing because the game isn't out yet, but I have read some of the in-game lore books and stuff, and based on some of the things I've read, there's one super godlike being known as an Eon, and they're known as Remembrance. And if I remember correctly, those two came in a pair. And given that Genshin is all about memories, having the twins be the Eon of Remembrance just makes so much sense to me. So I'm hoping that theory comes true, because that would be awesome. I don't know how much merit it actually has, but, you know, there it is. I'm throwing it out there. You heard it here first, folks. That's all that matters. Now, the travelers aren't supposed to be Lucifer. I mean, I don't think that they necessarily have to be any one direct reference. I think they can have multiple references, and Lucifer can be one of them. But you have to remember something, right? Like, people think of Lucifer and they make him out to be a really bad character, but, like, canonically, in his original form, he was one of the most loved angels of God, right? Like, he was. And even Satan, who is technically a completely different entity from Lucifer, Satan was also an angel. And maybe he had a horrific form and everything, but his job was still working for God to seduce humans, right? He was supposed to help God filter out the faithful from the I don't want to call them weak, but, like, you know, from those who were not worthy, I guess, is probably a better thing to say. There's actually no, like, correct way to go about explaining that. But you kind of get my drift, right? So, like, even if we're talking, I don't know what happened to that Hilichurl, but he just evaporated. even if we're talking about entities that we typically consider to be negatively associated, that may not be entirely true. And, you know, a lot of times we get crossover in terms of influence, right? Like a lot of people say, well, Lucifer is Satan, or, you know, Satan is also Beelzebub, or, you know, like there's a lot of that kind of stuff, right? And sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's true in certain situations, and sometimes it's not true at all, and sometimes it's true in multi-directions. Like, history is complicated, religion is complicated, and mythology is complicated. So the twins could be Lucifer. They could also just be an aspect of him. But they could also just be Ishtar. They could be referencing just the morning stars in general and all of the gods and goddesses that are associated with the morning stars, because there are a lot of them, depending on what religion you look at. Or they might not even represent the morning or evening stars at all. They might just represent stars and the nuclear fusion process, which is what happens in the core of stars. Because, you know. Anyway, that was a long segue. Sorry. The Black Kirin, what do you think about the quote from the Black Serpent Knight referring to the Traveler to the Calamity? I don't know that they're necessarily referring to the Traveler as a calamity. They're just referring to whoever they're fighting. It just happens to be the Traveler at that point. I think all the Black Serpent Knights are very interesting because they're husks, but they're basically like reliving their last day on Earth. So what we can glean from that is something came down from the heavens that they perceived as being the bringer of calamity. That they believe that the heavenly envoys left. All of that kind of stuff. So I think that it might not be the Traveler exactly, but I think that it's a good indicator that there was someone that they were fighting that they did consider to be the Calamity. And I will be right back because Fenris wants to come inside. She's outside. I need to let her in. She's very strange. She sits in front of the door and then she boofs in like this really specific pattern and tone until I pay attention to her. She's a sweetheart. She's a big old sweetie. Vanessa, can humans become gods by ascending their visions? Hell, do we even have any idea what species A is? Those are two different questions. First question, we have no idea. We only have one instance confirmed of a human ascending, and that is Vanessa. And as far as we know, I don't think she had a vision that we're aware of. I could be wrong. I'd have to go check. But the only other human that I think is mentioned alongside Ascension is Guhua, but that one's not even confirmed that it ever happened. So we can't even say. So we don't know the answer to that first one. We need more vision lore. We just don't have any. And then do we have any idea what species A is? Honestly, I think A might be a fox. And the reason I say that she might be a fox is because of the thunder drums on the fox spirit when you first enter Rito. I think that might actually be, it's supposed to be a representation of Makoto. I really think that. I don't think that's Yai anymore, or Saigu, or, you know, anything. I think that might well and truly be supposed to be the Shoguns. But that's just a theory, and I've got nothing to base it off of except for the fact that the only other place that you see the thunder drums is on the Statue of Seven. So I think it's somewhat of a reasonable theory, but it doesn't have a whole lot of weight to it. But do we know for sure? Absolutely not. We have no idea. We have no idea. Mija Barris, do you think the travelers are or might be related to the Shades of Phanis? And that's why they can use all the elements without a visions and why Paimon finds them? Yeah, something like that. I think that they're supposed to be the inheritor of Phanis in a way. Like, I think they're supposed to either inherit his powers or Because Phanes in general was a god that reincarnated, like a lot, like canonically, that was his thing. Like there's a whole myth about him getting eaten over and over again, and then getting resurrected and all that kind of stuff. So, yep, that's definitely possible. And reminding everyone that like the twins have the power of light, and Phanes had a body that was made of light. So even if the twins aren't made from Phanes or made to serve him or whatever, they may have inherited something from him. And in fact, they may just be his children. It's possible that he had kids. Gods do that. I mean, gods have birthed babies from their thighs and their skull, and like they can do whatever they want. Niter, Curse of Immortality for the Hilichurls sounds very like the Curse of Undead from Dark Souls. Could it at least be a direct inspiration from it? I have no idea. Legit, I have never played Dark Souls. I have watched people play Dark Souls. I have yeah, I've seen it. I don't know anything about Dark Souls lore, so I actually just can't comment. Oh. I can't climb either. Okay. Well, that's fine. There's a chest over there somewhere. So I gotta get around this and get up there. Somehow. Maybe here? No. Over here, though. Yeah. You can do it, Ito. You gotta build up those noodle arms. Gotta bulk up, man. Gotta do more reps. Get those high twitch muscles going. Unsecret Crush. You said once that you thought Tears of Thamus might relate to Konamiya somehow. Could you say more about that, or do you think you'll ever do a video about it? I haven't actually played Tears of Thamus. I've just read a little bit about some of the setting and stuff like that, and I know like a little bit about like I'm talking like a little bit, right? Like a real little bit. So I probably won't ever make a video on it, but basically it boils down to the idea that Dainslift suggests that Konamiya was very technically advanced. It was a civilization of mankind, built for mankind. It was like the pride of mankind, right? And then we know that all of the citizens of Konamiya had those diamond-shaped... Oh, come on. Had those diamond-shaped pupils, and that is something that every character in Tears of Thamus has. So looking at them as like a modern society, you know, kind of like space agey, sort of, with the diamond-shaped pupils, it just kind of is a little suspicious, you know? So, yeah. Yep. That's the thought process. There's nothing really deep to it. There's really not. There's some other, like, little things that you can be like, oh my god, that connects to Genshin, or that connects to Honkai, or, you know. You can easily do that kind of stuff, but, as, like, trying to directly connect it to Konamiya, there's not too much, other than the fact that they have a bar that is called the Abyss, I think. And there's like a story in Genshin, The Drunkard's Tale, where like a wolf is talking to a Seelie and it says, what you call wine, we call the Abyss. And so like there's like little things like that, but there's nothing like concrete. If I've skipped your question, it's because it's not like my name isn't highlighted in your comment, by the way. Abab, how much do you think the Traveler knows but won't tell us? Oh god, so much.
Can't catch me.
So much. I mean, like, on the one hand, I think the Traveler's memories aren't perfect. I think they've forgotten a lot of things, and I think the Traveler knows a lot less than the sibling. But I also think that they know way more than they're letting on. Because like there's some choices that you're forced to make in the game about who to side with and all sorts of stuff like that. And it just feels like the Traveler has a little bit more information than the player. And that's why they're going about things in such a way. That's my thoughts on it. Yum, 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 smack. Oh, come on. I'm gonna smack that shield. And then smack his stupid face. Listen, I'm giving these guys a chance to take a nap. They're in pain all the time. So let's just, like, dirt nap them for a little bit. There they go. Take a break there, buddy. It's your nap time. Nap time is good. Everybody needs a nap. Doo-doo-doo. Everybody wants a nap all the time. I am like, where's my scroll bar even? Oh my god, I'm so far behind. Jesus, okay. I skipped a bunch of questions so I can like come back up. So let me just... Okay. All right. I'm going to finish this batch of questions and then I'll open it up again. But like, oof, that's a lot of stuff to get through. Zhongli Sugar Daddy. You poor thing. How do you feel about the connection between Sol, Indignir, Inazuma, and Konamiya and the Chasm based on architecture? Pretty weak, I guess. Like, the Chasm really only matches Konamiya right now. It doesn't match Sol Indignir, and it doesn't match Inazuma. Inazuma matches Sol Indignir, and vice versa, but Chasm only matches Konamiya. So basically what it tells you is that those are two different civilizations. Because there's a vast difference that separates Konamiya and Liwa, right? So you know at one point, those two places were connected either by ideology, by rulership, or just by culture in general. Like it was one unified culture as per the books. But I feel like we know more about that culture than we do about the one that built anything on Sol Indignir. But the culture of Sol Indignir does feel newer than the culture of Konamiya and the Chasm. So I want to date the cultures in the Chasm as over 6,000 years old. Same with Konamiya. And then I would like to date the architecture of Sol Indignir as being more like 3,000 years old or so. That's my current estimate. I could be very wrong. We'll see. But just based on the information that I have, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Skytex, what do you think about the idea that the nails are rods of gods type weapon as a planetary acupuncture needle? I mean, yeah, that works. That sounds kind of weird, calling it a rod of God and then calling it an acupuncture needle. Because, like, I don't know anyone who wants to get punctured by a rod. That sounds really painful. But, like, an acupuncture needle is supposed to relieve pressure in certain areas. It's supposed to stimulate nerves and such. So you could think of it that way. I'm not sure how far to go with the whole acupuncture kind of metaphor. It's just because I'm not sure what kind of thing it would, like, I don't really know what it would do. And I'm at this point kind of sure there's more like 8 needles total that we're gonna find. And that includes possibly one that we haven't seen yet in Inazuma. Such a handy little thing. I want to go this way. I like the combat music. You just don't get to hear it much. It's so nice, though. Anyway. Robson, any obscure theories on the Adventurers Guild, as their headquarters are on Shinha, and we now know the Fatui also secretly protect all the stuffs from the shadows better than Batman. Batman doesn't protect shit, man. Although I guess that depends on which iteration of Batman you're talking about. I feel like those are two different discussions. Like, the Adventurers Guild was founded in Shinha, or at least, well, it wasn't necessarily founded, but it's headquartered there, for sure. So it's pretty easy to assume that they might have a connection to the Fatui, except that they take a lot of connections... Sorry, they take a lot of commissions that are getting rid of the Fatui. So part of me wants to call them, like, a countermeasure to the Fatui in a lot of ways. But being headquartered in an area doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they were founded. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. I still think my favorite Adventurers Guild theory is that the Adventurers Guild is, like, the strong arm of the Hexen Circle. I think that's still my favorite theory. And it's not mine. But it's definitely my favorite one. Ryan, thought on the Traveler being the Pale Princess. Also, could Dane have been the one who dropped off Kaya and Mondstadt? Could the Sealies be the Chasm Nail destroyed? I don't think the Sealies were destroyed in the Chasm Nail. Reason being, we've got Sealy Quartz down here. I think the Sealies might actually predate that to a degree. Like, the Sealies themselves are pretty confusing. Because they have gravestones everywhere. And the gravestones that they have were said to have been in lunar palaces. Which would make the Sealy, you know, that ties the Sealies to the Moon Sisters. So, like, they should be about that age. But what we don't know is if the Moon Sisters were before or after the primordial one. And if the Sealies... were a result of the Moon Sisters, or if they were already here and then just kind of accepted them. You know, like, it's too hard to say, and I'm not prepared to make comparisons about the Sealies yet for that reason. It's honestly, it's just the existence of Sealy Quartz. Sealy Quartz are just the worst thing. Because, like, they're in Konamiya too, right? But they're also in Indignir, and they're, like, freaking everywhere. And it's annoying.
Can't catch me.
Like, why are they there? I don't know. I find them a little less annoying than teleport points in terms of trying to... Yeah, anyway. Sven, do you believe that Bishop people exist? Kokomi says they don't, based on Konamiya clan sources, but she doesn't know about the Baptismal Bishop experimental records. The Baptismal Bishop experimental records don't technically mention anything about Bishop people as far as I'm aware. The only quote-unquote Bishop people that were there were technically the hybrids of Orobashi. So they were the Serpent, they were the vassals of Orobashi, and those came from his blood and not from Bishop blood. So I'm not so sure about that. I think it's also a little bit dependent on how you define people, because bishops are pretty smart. They're pretty clever. Like, they raise Sumi. She can obviously, you know, communicate with them to a degree, and they can communicate back. So they have to have some baseline level of intelligence. And if you're talking about like, are there bishop human type things, I'm gonna say probably not. But then we have to consider that Ajdaha is considered a bishop. And he obviously is quite sentient. He is quite smart, although he is currently corrupted. And you could easily call him a person. I mean, like, he's sentient. He has emotions. He has, you know, like, he has all of the things that theoretically make someone a person, except he doesn't have any monkey DNA. So it depends. But the whole bishop person thing, I think, is really just referring to Oribashi's vassals, which is kind of not the same thing at all. But that's where my head is. Ranbu says stuff. Do you think Rhindaughter is alive or at least human?
I swear.
Whoa.
Go.
I thought I hit the button in time and I didn't. That's okay. That's what Chi-Chi's for. Chi-Chi is for all of my ouchies. And if I can get a... Well, we'll see. Where am I going? I'm just running around in circles at this point. That's okay. You're not here for whatever's on screen anyway. You're here to hang out with me! I think. I mean, if you're here to watch whatever's on screen, I'm sure there are other streamers that make more interesting on-screen content than I do. Anyway. Do you think Rhindaughter is still alive or at least human? Yes and yes. Well, human, again, is kind of relative. I mean, we've already proved that Albedo is, like, several hundred years old. There is nothing stopping Rhindaughter from being several thousand years old, you know? So, you know, is she human? I don't know. She might look human, but she might be a Seelie. She might be long-lived. She might be Conrian cursed. She could be any of those things. And she might even, you know, not have a humanish form. She might have an Abyss Lector form or something. Who knows? I doubt it, because they're going to want to make her sellable, which means they're going to try and make her pretty. And I don't think the Abyss Lectors count in MiHoYo's eyes as pretty.
Can't catch me.
I could be wrong, but I really don't think that's the case. Yeah, so I definitely think she's alive. She's kind of a huge deal. I honestly think she has a connection to Dainsleif that we don't know about yet. But I have nothing really to base that off of except some speculation. And yeah. Whee! Hi, little guy. I like bugs. I like bugs. I like bugs. Bugs, bugs, bugs. They give me hugs. They're very tiny hugs, but they're hugs. JP, how are the teleporters in areas affected by celestial nails? They do not appear to be.
Let's roll.
Come back here. Come back here. God, it's like a beetle. I hate these little spinny things. Spinny, bitty, 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 bitty. Do 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 do. Can you blow up the thing? Is it gonna blow anything up? Yes, it blew up a thing. I found a secret entrance. Woohoo! Fairy Freak, do you think Zhongli... Oh, geez. Okay. Well, that super chat popped up before I could finish reading the question, so I'm going to do this one first, then I'm going to scroll back up because I lost my place in the chat, and that happens.
Can't catch me.
That happens. Eli Noodles Animations, thank you so much for your super chat, man. I really appreciate that. Let's see what you have to ask, the Ashi. Let's see. You ever feel like, maybe this is just me, but like sometimes I feel like, oh, hey, cool. Sometimes I feel like, those like carnival games, you know, like where you put a quarter in and then the little robot tells you your fortune. Sorry, it says segue. I'm gonna read the thing. Have you obtained the shriveled seed from the big tree in the chasm? If so, what are your thoughts on it and its relatively to the story? I honestly don't think it has that much to do with like the story in general. I think it's gonna be like one of those things that will unlock like an extra piece of the story if you happen to get it. But I don't think it's like a required thing. Like I don't think it has all that much importance. And the reason is because it's in an optional room in an optional area. Like the chasm itself, like I guess the chasm isn't like totally optional because there's an Archon quest in it. I wonder if we'll ever go down there. Do you think we'll go down there? I bet we'll go down there. I bet there's something at the bottom. The thing about the chasm is like, I feel like a lot of this is optional. And so I feel like because the shriveled seed was not obtained as part of the Archon quest, that it's not super important to the main story. And it's really gonna like unlock like say a world quest in Sumeru that might give us some background information on like the previous Dendro Archon or something. I think that's gonna be like the extent to which that seed is important. I think a lot of the theories I've seen have been putting a lot of stock in that seed as being like this incredibly important thing. And I just don't see that happening just because it is an optional thing in an optional area, you know? It doesn't make any less important. Like the Sacred Sakura is obviously important and we see it throughout the story and you really kind of like only know the whole truth about the Sacred Sakura if you do the cleansing quest, right? Because like you learn more about Saigyu and like the importance of the tree and like how the tree has served Inazuma over the years. But the important key detail about the Sacred Sakura is actually coming from a story quest, which is definitely a required thing because it unlocks a weekly boss, right? I think the Shriveled Seed's gonna be a bit like the Sacred Sakura in that it'll help us learn something a little bit later on about something in Sumeru, but I don't think it'll be like crucial. It's just gonna be like nice to have information. I just really like this giant hole in this waterway and I want to drain the water. I just want to drain the water. You know? It's like when you're a kid and you're like, you want to pull the plug in the bathtub? Because you want to see if you'll go down the drain with everything else? No? Just me? Okay. I got it. Yep. I getcha. I getcha. That's not a universal experience, I know. Slow down. Guys, slow down. Slow down. No more questions for a bit, guys. I gotta I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. Sorry. I don't remember where I was. I don't remember where I was, guys. Sorry. Okay, I am gonna be skipping like a lot of stuff because I have no idea where I was, and I lost my place, and I had to delete some stuff. So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna move on to Cinnabon. Have I found Shiqiang's letter in the area with the nail in the chasm? I think some of the annotations are quite interesting. Yes, I have. I have indeed. There it is. No, not that one. Where is her map? I don't know where her map went. Or is it in here? Oh, it's in the bottom of this thing, isn't it? There it is. Yeah, there's some stuff in here. But, like, basically, a lot of the annotations on here are, like, she pointed at the nail, Zamaran, the nail fragment, the original base camp, and then the dark mud. And that's kind of everything that's in here. It is interesting, like, how she's marked everything. It seems like she wasn't able to get a really clear picture of what was going on around the nail, because everything over there is, like, really blurry, but hopefully we'll see her again and she won't be dead. I would very much like for her to not be dead, you know? That would be cool. That would be great. I'm kind of thinking that might not be what's gonna happen. I feel like she gonna die. But maybe in the next patch. I have nothing to base that off of either. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. That's all I got. Dylan, Paimon is near definitely some powerful being. Do you think she will end up betraying the Traveler, or when her true form is showed, it will be to help them? Okay, so I have mixed feelings on Paimon and what I think her role is in the story. I think that it's very unlikely Paimon will end up betraying us or, like, being separated from us from any period of time for two reasons. One, she is basically our entire menu system. Without Paimon, we don't have the Paimon menu. So we'd have to have someone replace her who would need to have her capabilities. So that's one. Two has to do with this. Have you noticed how it says Paimon on our emails here? That is a very different, I don't know if I have one saved. Oh yeah, I do. Here it is. On Paimon's actual birthday, you'll notice it doesn't say Paimon. It's actually like her name. It's not separated by these little dividers anymore, right? Which means that Paimon is different from Paimon. So then there's also that line of hers where she talks about how, like, is it another Paimon? You know, like when you go fishing, right? And it makes me wonder if there might actually be multiple Paimons. So maybe she won't be the Paimon that betrays us. Maybe there are a lot of Paimons. Maybe Paimon is a Seelie and every Seelie looked like Paimon. And maybe there'll be like a whole army of Paimons that we have to fight one day. That could be a thing. I just don't think that our personal Paimon is liable to betray us anytime soon. Just because, like, she's so hardwired into our whole UI system and they'd have to replace it. I don't see them doing that. Like, that'd be so confusing for players. What's the Dainsleif menu? Why is he here? That'd be funny. That'd actually be, like, legitimately funny. Break Fate's chain. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. It is much appreciated. And your question is, do you think that the Moon Sisters are connected to the Abyss Realm, given the last part of the Spiral Abyss is called the Abyssal Moon Spiral? Or Spire, rather. Yes, I think that's very possible. I'm honestly not sure I have like a really complete idea, or a coherent idea is probably a better way to put it, of what I think the Moon Sisters are and like what I think they ruled for realms. But having them be related to the Void Abyss realm would make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. And the first way being... Oh, wait, no, I wanted to go this way. What am I doing? The first way being, I had at one point connected the Spiral Abyss to the Aryan Rod realm and the goddess Aryan Rod. And then I matched Aryan Rod to the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles, among other things. And Aryan Rod's name quite literally means silver wheel. And silver wheels are generally what it's a pretty common way to refer to a goddess of a moon.
Can't catch me.
So I do think that there's a strong connection there. And it would be very interesting to me if the Moon Sisters perhaps were from the Abyss Realm and the Bishops were from the Light Realm, and the Light Realm and the Abyss Realm got fused together to form the Human Realm. And that's what Phanes ruled. And so that's how, you know, you could have all of these things happening at once. Like, that could be a distinct possibility. Like, it's very possible that, like, the whole thing about, how do I put it? It's very possible, like, the whole thing with Istaroth is she might actually be a moon sister that got fused into the inner workings of the human realm, and she's trying to split the realms again so that she can go home. Which would make her both a villain and a hero at the same time, which I think is kind of an interesting idea. But I don't have any other better way to articulate my thought process here. Other than I definitely think it's a distinct possibility that the moons are related to the Spiral Abyss and therefore the Abyss Realm, or the Void Realm. And that the Abyss may not be inherently bad. Whopper flower just come from a gas leak? Because that's kind of funny. I think he just came from a gas leak. Ooh, hey, chest. Where? Wait, where? Where? Is it? Oh, it might be like up. We'll go up here. We'll go up here. Koryuri, thank you very much for your super chat. And you have an explanation for the Paimon thing, huh? Personal Artificial Intelligence Mission Operations Navigator. That's actually really nice. I'm not gonna like that's actually a really nice acronym there. I was my own personal take on the Paimon supercomputer is that it actually is an acronym for a series of god systems, and that Phanes and all that weren't technically gods, they were just different programs. So in that case, Paimon would stand for, let's see if I can remember this, Phanes, Asmodee, Istaroth, I don't have anyone for M yet, Ouroboros, and Nyx. Those were my guesses. But we shall see in time what happens. I have no idea where this chest is. Watch it, like, not be hovering up here. I like that, though. Personal Artificial Intelligence Mission Operations Navigator. Because it would be kind of funny if Paimon was, like, a computer system from, like, some sort of spaceship that the travelers were from. And that the traveler actually knows what Paimon is. But Paimon doesn't know what Paimon is. And that's why the traveler's fine with everything that they do, is because, like, oh, you're the computer system from my ship. You've just, like, taken a body and forgotten a lot of things. But don't worry, we'll restore your data in time. That would be hysterical. Obsidian. What if the idea of Paimon having multiple bodies, one per traveler, could represent her being fragmented? Yup, that's possible too. It's possible that there's a lot of different Paimons. And maybe we'll have to collect Paimon's memories as we go. That could be a thing. I just realized that was like a luxury chest that I had not gotten. It's in a pretty good place, actually. I would have not thought to look there.
Follow my lead.
I didn't think that there would be a ledge there. I really love the idea of a fragmented Paimon that we have to, like, go around actually fishing Paimon out of fishing holes. Do you know how, like, hysterical that would be if, like, the thing you had to do was, like, find these specific locations and then literally fish out other Paimons? Or maybe you'd have to find corrupted Paimons and you'd have to fight them? That would be sick. That would be sick. Do you think that Genshin Murata will have the same fate as Honkai Murata? Yeah, I do. She gonna die, dude. She gonna die. Like, yep, she gonna die. I don't have anything else to say to that other than, yep, she dead. Okay, well, I do have one thing to say to that. I'll give you a little bit of reasoning for it. The way that this is worded, the fact that a name is blanked out, and what Dainsleif says in Travail about the God of War bestowing us with some knowledge, and the fact that she has her reasons for it and stuff like that. I don't know. It kind of paints her as like someone who might end up being a bit self-sacrificial, who ends up fighting a battle and dying in that battle in a way that she wanted to die in because she knew her death was inevitable. And in doing so, she gives the traveler some sort of really important information, which would make her, it would give her a parallel to Honkai's Murata in that she gave Kiana a final lesson and then peaced out. It would be something similar, but for the traveler, you know. So I think that's a very distinct possibility. I'll be surprised if she doesn't die. I'll put it that way. I will be very surprised. Very surprised. But man, that is so many years away at this point. That's like what, at least 3 years away, right? Wait, let me think. We were going to Sumeru, and then we're going to Fontaine, and then Natlan. So, well, okay, it's only like 2 years away. It's still a considerable, like, a lot can happen in 2 years, man. A lot can happen in 2 years. We'll see. What do you think about the start game cutscene? It looks like it's not the whole scene, and rewatching it, I noticed the twins are chasing each other. Plus, Ether, for some reason, looks really... Are you talking about the opening cutscene? I've never interpreted the twins as fighting each other in that scene. The thing about the twins is that they actually have very complementary fighting styles. Lumine tends to fight with her legs, whereas Ether tends to fight with his arms. Ether tends to go low, Lumine tends to go high. Lumine actually has higher charge attack multipliers, and I think either has I think he has higher normal attacks, but not by much, or he has higher defense. I forget which one. But generally speaking, if they were moving around each other, I don't necessarily think it had anything to do with them attacking each other. But it was probably more that they were tag teaming and working around each other. Also, it wouldn't really make sense for one twin to be fighting the other one, like, canonically in that one, like, for Ether to be mad at Lumine in that scene, because, like, you haven't picked a twin at that point. So, like, there isn't actually a canonical twin at that point, because it hasn't been selected yet by you. So it doesn't make sense for one twin to be angrier than the other over anything, in my opinion. River, do you think the snakes represent the Order of Tevat that was sort of replaced and assimilated into the heavenly principles? I'm basing this off the reference to Delphi. I don't think I understand the question. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question. I mean, are you suggesting that the snakes are kind of like Python at Delphi, and that the heavenly principles are supposed to be like Apollo that killed the snake? Is that what this is? Because, like, I could see that to a degree, except the reference to Delphi is like a literal physical place in Konamiya. Like, there's actually a space called Delphi. So I'm not sure about that. Personally. Noah, so dead playable Archon. I mean, yeah, probably for Murata, if that's what you mean. Voodoo, do you think the Traveler would ever go berserk on Paimon? Marcosius is the M in Paimon. I don't think Marcosius is the M in Paimon because that would put him at a higher level than Zhongli, and I don't think that's quite the case because he was technically the patron deity of soil. Oh dear. This may not end well. Nope, we're good. Guys, do not jump down really deep holes when you're low on stamina. That is a bad plan. It's a very, very bad plan. Let me use my compass. There's nothing here. There's nothing, but I'm gonna go up this spot right here. Gonna go up here anyway. Gonna go up through the hole. Whee!
Can't catch me.
Just cuz. Although this does put me right back where I was. I'll take a mushroom right out of her cup. You know, I do wonder if we're going to start seeing statues of holding, instead of a cup, holding a sword, a clock,
Best friend in the world. The sweet, sweet taste of victory.
and a flower.
That's why I've never spent a single mora on any of my snacks.
I do wonder if we're going to see that.
Fair and square.
I wonder if we've just only seen the cup one for now, and if there's other ones, or if it's just going to be cups and that's it. I'm not sure. Not sure.
Can't catch me.
Hello, me doody 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 doo 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 doos.
Witness my great undertaking.
Come back here, Ronith. Don't worry, I will not forget the Needle of Judgment. Trust me, it haunts my dreams. Haunts my dreams. So fun thing about Zamoran. Well, I'll save that. I will save that for an actual video that I want to do. Ah! My chat just jumped again. Hey, the Chatford. Thank you. Oh no. Thank you for the super chat, man. But what if flowers for Princess Fischl is real? Listen. I don't wanna burst your skeptical bubble here, but like, you remember that whole thing about how Otto and Honkai viewed a branch on the imaginary tree, and you could see Dvalin and like a series of skyscrapers in the background, and then there was like a girl on screen at the same time? That girl on screen is, I believe, Fallen Rosemary, but her coloring and a lot of her other stuff that she has looks a hell of a lot like Fischl. So let's just say flowers from Fischl for Princess Fischl being like an actual thing that happened, but maybe over dramatized. It's very possible. In fact, I think some stuff from Flowers for Princess Fischl is confirmed through the Mitternacht's Waltz. But I would have to read through them both and compare them again in order to say that for sure. But I'm pretty sure. If that's like something you're really interested in, I highly recommend comparing the two when you get a chance. And I like want to smack him. Squish, squish. Okay. I don't know what happened to my Ito's crit rate, but like, good lord. He's whiffing everything. Okay. Yuri, hey, you're back, man. Thank you. I appreciate this so much. Jeez. Non-Genshin question, but are you planning to pick up 3 hopes? And if so, which house? Edelgard is best girl. I won't apologize. I won't make you apologize for liking Edelgard. For context, for those of you who don't know, this question is about a game in the Fire Emblem series, which is like a strategy RPG. They're putting out a Warriors-based game, so like a Musou game, called Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, which is a... I don't know if it's like a... I guess it's a spin-off. It's like an alternate timeline game to the last entry in the Fire Emblem series called Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So this one's called Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. That's what this question's about. I'm a big Fire Emblem fan. I play a lot of Fire Emblem over the years. Yeah, so that's, yeah. Yep. Here's the thing, though. I don't really like Musou games. And I did not play the last Fire Emblem Heroes game. But the reason I didn't play the last Fire Emblem Heroes game is because I was invested in, like, literally none of the cast that they had decided to include in that game. And I thought the story was really awful. And I don't generally like Musou games. But I've heard a lot of really good things about the strategic gameplay of Fire Emblem Warriors. So I'm thinking that since Fire Emblem 3 Hopes looks like it's going to have at least a decent storyline in it, and it will have characters that I'm actually interested in, that I will get it. But I'm sorry. I'm a Blue Lions fan. Yep. If I have to pick a route, I'm going with Dimitri for sure. Mm-hmm. He's a sweetheart and deserves the support. And part of the reason why I would go with Blue Lions, even if I wasn't like a huge fan of Dimitri, is because my other favorite character from 3 Houses is Felix, and Felix is from Blue Lions. So I can't not pick that house. I mean, ultimately, I think I'll do all the routes, but Blue Lions first, as usual. Mm-hmm. Hi, dude.
Life goes on.
Burst forth. It's showtime.
Do. Come back here. I wish they would increase the amount of time that you could hold down the R button in order to tap Ushi, because like if I compress the button the whole way, it counts as a hold. But like if I have to compress the button like halfway for it to always register as a tap, and then sometimes if I only do it halfway, it won't register at all, and it's really annoying. Ryan X Official, thanks for the super chat. Are you sure you didn't have a question to ask, man? I appreciate it either way, but yeah, if you have a question, throw it in chat. Just make sure to tag me so that I can answer that. But thank you. Voodoo. In the Ars Goetia, Paimon is only seconded by Ball in terms of rank since they are both kings. I don't know how much the ranking system in the Ars Goetia is actually going to play in. I really don't. The thing about the Ars Goetia is like every god appears to have a reference in there. If they're actually like a full-on, like a full-blown god, they have an Ars Goetia name. Like Osile is most likely Ose, and Guizhon is Gujin.
Can't catch me.
And Havria is Havris. Like, there's a lot, right? Like, when you start to take those into account, like, you start to get repeats and ranks and stuff, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of those. So, I don't know. I don't know about the ranking system. I guess I don't really have an opinion on it. Carl, what exactly is the symbolism of Cecilias? We see them a lot in reference to not only the Animo Archon, but also the Guard of Time. They feel relatively important, but how so? In terms of Genshin, I couldn't tell you what the answer is to that, but in terms of Honkai, I kind of can. So here's the thing. You see the blessing of the Welkin Moon here? You see the character that's here? Well, she's got long hair in the front, but if you look at her carefully, you'll realize that she actually has short hair in the back. It's like base of her neck. It's like a bob length. And her haircut is identical to a character in Honkai called Cecilia. Or at least during a very specific time when she was a certain age. And Cecilia is Kiana's mom, and Kiana being the main character of Honkai Impact. And, you know, Kiana has, like, so much importance on the story as a whole that, like, it's... Anyway, her mom was also really, really important. Just her mother's existence was incredibly important. Her blood had the power to completely neutralize the Honkai, which made her incredibly valuable as a resource. And the symbol of her family house is the same flower as the Cecilia flower in Genshin. So there is no doubt in my mind that the flower in Genshin is a reference to her specifically. And I do think that she will be important because I have a strong suspicion that she might be one of the Moon Sisters. Given that, you know, she's the blessing of the Welkin Moon. And if she's one of the Moon Sisters, then that would mean that likely multiple people of Kiana's family from Honkai might have counterparts in Genshin that are of that moon rank. Oh, that sounds so weird to say out loud. Sounds better in my head. Hi, buddy. Woo!
Charge! Rally! Live! Feel this ancient power.
Shoo.
Attaboy!
Oh, I didn't have my burst up. Well, that would explain a lot. That's okay. We don't need it. Where'd he go?
Catch me!
Oh. Don't need it. That's okay. Boop. I love that when I play as Ito, and I have full stacks on my Kesagiri, and then I go into a cutscene, Ito disappears, but his mask stays on. And so, like, I'll be in the middle of, like, the super serious cutscene, and there will just be, like, a big this right in your face in the camera, and it just won't go away. And it's hilarious. It's fun. Dog loan. Have we talked about KK? Who do I think it is? Kevin Kaslana. I know that's the most boring answer ever, but, like, that's who I think it is. We have reasonings for it, but it's like really long and complicated, and we're probably going to get a somewhat of a reasonable answer to it in the next few weeks anyway, so I'm not going to bother like kind of going into it for the most part. But it's the answer that makes the most sense to me. I know it's really straightforward if you know anything about the Elysian realms in the previous era in Honkai, but like I still think that sometimes the obvious answer is the right answer. In this particular case, especially. I just don't think it's a code name. Is there anything behind here? No. Why does Genshin never put caves behind waterfalls? God, that's so annoying. I want my waterfall caves. Does that bother no one else? Is it just me? Does it just bother me?
Can't catch me.
I guess maybe. I guess maybe so. Maybe it's just me. River, I've done a lot of diving into Honkai Impact 3rd lore, and I've been playing Honkai for a long time. And nothing particularly touched me as connecting to Genshin except for the tree. What do you think? I think basically everything in previous era has a lot to do with Genshin, but I do think that Genshin has more ties to Star Rail than Honkai Impact. But I think Star Rail is going to be MiHoYo's kind of gateway into introducing multiple multiverses that can exist in parallel areas but still follow the same universal rules. So you'd end up with a lot of different worlds that are in the same continuity, but like in parallel universes, but still subject to similar soft magic systems, so to speak. I think that's kind of what they're going for. But like I said earlier, I do think that Genshin's connection to Honkai is less explicit and more, how do you say? I don't want to say coincidental. That's not quite right either. I don't know. I don't know how to word it. I don't think it's I don't think it's that important. How's that? Like, I do think they're connected. I just don't think that the method in which they're connected is all that relevant for the story of either or, unless you're just looking for Easter eggs or like meta lore, like super high level multiverse lore. I think on that level it matters, but like outside of that, not really. That's just my thought. Volkis, do you think Raseo is the creator of the Travelers? No, I don't. like there's a lot of things around the whole Raseo and KK and all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of that is really dependent on how Project Arc actually went. And while Raseo appears to have been the one that was eventually assigned to Project Arc, it's not quite clear what her role was. And it's not quite clear if she lived, among other things. Like there's too many unknowns to be able to say anything. And the thing about Raseo is that she's such a blank slate that it'd be kind of odd to see her in a context where she has her own personality. For those of you who don't know who Raseo is, it's so hard to explain. But she basically slowly takes on the personality of whoever's in front of her. And I'm just not sure how that would play out in a creator sense. Because she doesn't technically create things from her own imagination. She creates things... she creates things... how to say? Like, she creates the things she sees from other people's minds or dreams or at other people's requests. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm not even really a good person to explain it because, like, again, I know a bit about Honkai lore, but it's not like my area of expertise. I wouldn't call myself a Honkai lore person. I look at Honkai lore through the eyes of Genshin and not as its own thing because I just don't have enough investment in the story to always consider it its own thing. So, like, my view on it's always going to be biased. No matter how you slices it. Cloudiet. Hey, thanks, man, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Any speculations you haven't been putting into videos yet? Oh my god, I have so many. I think my current theory count, the last time I sat down for it, was like 68 and counting. And at this point, I'm like cherry picking which ones I feel like I actually want to do right now, which ones are worth waiting on, which ones are just nice to do, you know, that kind of stuff. It's it is a long list. And I'll probably never get through it because I don't have the capacity to crank out content at the speed I would need to crank it out in order to have them all done. So for the most part, I just look for whatever theory seems to be the most relevant to whatever's going on at any given time in the game, and I go with that. I do want to do an updated Sumeru speculations video, though, because, like, I feel like that might be really interesting to do. Because, like, a lot of that stuff is stuff I still think is accurate, but I have some additional things to add to it now, which might be kind of cool, and it might be good timing for it. Tide people over until you know, the next patch comes out, since we're gonna have a few extra weeks here of low content. So that'd be good. Jum, jum, jum. Bump. Yeah. Obsidian, another question. You made a video a while back about the 5 rings and domains possibly representing 5 more archons. With subsequent patches now passed, do you still stand by this? No, I think they're the 5, the primordial one and his 4 shades. Can't catch me. Which still equals 5, and it still kind of works out to 5 or 7 in the heavens and 5 for the abyss. It just means that the primordial ones are in the abyss, which might be a little bit weird in context, but that's more what I'm thinking now. It makes more sense to me, given the new information that we have. I am back here again. Let's go somewhere else. Ryan X Official, I have a theory. Since Ether and Lumine came to Tevat by meteor, Lumine wake up early while Ether's still sleeping. Lumine built Conria and called it her homeland. Yeah, I mean, you're not the first one to have that kind of a theory, for sure. I've definitely seen people who share your opinion. I'm not one of them specifically because Dainsleif goes out of his way to state that Conria is the pride of mankind and that it was built by humans and it has no gods. And I just feel like the twins are two divine entities. So having their involvement with the creation of Conria feels super weird to me. Also, it doesn't really explain why Dainsleif traveled the world with the sibling and why that journey was described as tragic. It also doesn't really explain why the sibling would want to create a world by themselves while their sibling slept. Like, there's too many things that don't quite add up to me. It doesn't make the theory any less plausible. It's just that I have a hard time reconciling it personally. What is the point of this, like, leap point? Maybe it was for a lumen spar. Ryan Spears, also a Blue Lion stan. Mercedes is a cinnamon roll. Are you gonna get mad if I tell you that Mercedes gives me the creeps? Because she does. She's one of those characters that, like, I have no reason to be freaked out by, but, like, there's something about her character that, like, makes me think that she'd stab me in the back and just, like, for no apparent reason, no betrayal or anything, like, she just, like, quite literally stab me. But then, like, giggle about it and go to tea later. That's just, like, the vibe I get from Mercedes, and she freaks me out. I know that's not really what she's like, but that's just how I've always kind of, yeah, anyway. Any ideas why Sucrose's plunge attack has the same particles as Venti's hold skill burst charge attack when glider deploying particles? I've never done a plunge attack with Sucrose, so no, I have no ideas why. I don't even know what particles Venti has for his hold skill. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever paid that close attention to his particles. And again, he is still kind of a somewhat new unit for me. I don't really use Sucrose much. At all. I should just be honest and say at all. Yep. Maria, do you think Istaroth was the one who made both Barbados and the Traveler siblings sleep longer than usual as a way to protect them? I don't know. I don't think so. I would think that sleeping for a long period of time might have to do with just an injury. Which sounds like a really horrible, boring explanation, but, like, I really do think that. I really think it might just be an injury.
Can't catch me.
The Welkin lady has the same hair as Sayu? Are we talking about the same Sayu? I don't think they look anything alike. I mean, they have the same hair length in the back. Is that what you meant? I already went in here. I don't know what I'm doing back here. Let's go above ground. Let's go above ground. Cetus. In Ayato's teaser, did the raining in Inazuma City mean anything? I kind of found it weird because I always thought that the main cities in every region aren't affected by storms and rain. That might just be a game mechanics thing. That might not have anything to do with, like, what actually happens. Because, like, for example, we only ever see a full moon in Tavat, but, like, there's references to festivals and celebrations that happen during specific phases of the moon, but we never see them. So it's very possible that, like, the moon isn't always full in Tavat. It's possible that it does rain sometimes in the cities. It just doesn't in the game. You know?
Advance! Press the advantage! Come into being! Attaboy! It's showtime!
Bum, 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 bum. Bum. Queer Bunny, what do you think of the huge tree in the chasm in the inaccessible area if you climb up towards the light? Do you think that'll be back entrance to Sumeru? What if the shriveled seed? I've already answered the question about the shriveled seed, so I'm not going to answer it again. But in terms of, like, climbing that area towards the light, yeah, I totally think that's underneath Sumeru. For sure. Or, like, a bordering area that's not rendered yet. One of the two. Or both. Star, what do you think Dainslift's goal is? From what I understand so far, it seems like he could be on the side of the Fatui, but I'm not exactly sure what he wants. I don't know if you were here earlier, but there was a theory discussed where Dainslift might actually be Piero, so the founder of the Fatui. That's a possibility. But it seems like Dainslift's goal is to have something to do, probably, with the original civilization's goal of creating a world for mankind and giving mankind the ability to be everything that it should be. It seems like he believes that humans in general were unfairly subjugated. Is that a good thing to say? And that he doesn't appreciate the natural order of the world. But he also doesn't think he has the current abilities to change it. But that's really all the information we have on him so far in terms of motives. I'm not sure of anything else in terms of particulars that he might be interested in. It's a little hard to say. A little hard to say. Honest, do you think we'll ever get the Switch version ever? No, I don't. Not at this point. I have... Oops, I did that too early. Oh well. I'm not really sure what I think about the Switch version. Like, on the one hand, I feel like the Switch can handle it because phones can handle it, and I feel like the Switch is at least as powerful as most phones, but it's probably not the most optimal experience. I would also argue that... I'll take that. I would also argue that the part that's probably holding up the Switch version the most is Nintendo online services. The fact that Genshin always has to be connected online. I'm sure that there's some sort of weird contractual negotiation that's just taking a really long time, and it's got nothing to do with programming at all. It has everything to do with, like, making a deal with Nintendo, which I feel like might be a little bit trickier than people give it credit for.
Burst forth. Feel this ancient power. Who wants some of this?
But I'm not sure. I don't think we're getting a Switch version, though. I really don't. I think it would be a long shot to get the Switch version. I really do. Like, I feel like even if we got a new version of the Switch, like a Switch Pro or whatever, like, we still wouldn't get a Switch version of the game. Oh, this domain hates me, I swear. Maria, do you think Isteros was the one responsible for the... Oh, I did that. I already answered that question. I think I'm, like, really, really, really behind again. Balkis, it isn't possible that it's Kevin Castellana. Kevin was never in charge of Project Arc. The KK was in charge of Project Arc. Yeah, but listen. The only other KK that we have is either Cosma, who has no second K, or Kevin Killer, which was apparently a really bad translation and not an actual thing. So I think the jury's still out on it. I want to point out that it's not impossible because in Gun Girl Z, which was the game that came before Honkai, KK was Kevin Castellana. So even if it doesn't end up being him before, it was him once in one version. So it's not a stretch. It's not impossible. Shwadaba. Bum, 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 bum. Smack, smack. I wish I could just perpetually hold down the charge button with him and just, like, normal attack. That'd be nice. That'd be my quality of life right there. Mini Cosmique. Is Kate Kozlana also going to be introduced in the coming weeks? No, Kate Kozlana doesn't exist. She was a placeholder character. As far as I can tell, she's been data mined to just be like a placeholder character for Lumine. She never actually had a real purpose. She's not a character, as far as anyone knows. So... Voodoo, it can't be Kevin Kozlana because he said Kozlana means nothing to him. It's literally his name, dude. And like I said, it was him once. It was Kevin Kozlana in Gun Girl Z, so I think it's still a distinct possibility. Lucius, do you think the Gnosis are related to the Primordial One, and maybe that's why the sword says collecting them all? Yup, that's possible. The Primordial One is kind of, I feel like you could liken him to Light in a lot of ways. And since you can liken him to Light, I think it's quite possible. I'm going to keep that, actually. Yeah, I don't want that one. I think it's quite possible that, like Light gets split in a spectrum, I think that the Primordial One could have been split into 3 colors of light. Yeah, we're good. That's all I got for that. I think you could have been split into 3 colors of light. Not 3 colors of light, I'm sorry. He could have been split into multiple colors of light and then put into 7 different Gnosis. Each one representing both an element and a piece of the light spectrum. So yeah, that's possible. That is possible, but it would also mean that... Well, I don't know if it would really mean that, but... Oh, there's still a lot of questions to go, and I am out of things to do in the game right now. So everything that's in right now is what I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to call it a night, okay? Because there's a lot here. Like a lot. Rez, what are your thoughts or elaborations on the Chasm's history being a possible previous water world and then being flash petrified? What could have caused it and to what end? I mean, we've already seen the nail in the chasm. And I want to point out that the nail in the chasm has cubes around it. And you want to see something funny? You want to see something really funny? I gotta climb a thing. Oh my god. Where am I? Help me. Look who else is holding a cube. Isn't that interesting? It's interesting because the Skyfrost snail, in some ways, you could liken the bubbles that pop up around it to being similar to Venti's orb. So in some ways, I think it might be reasonable to assume that the nails might have some sort of elemental affinities. And that they're kind of like anchoring certain elemental energies in certain areas. I think that's possible. I think that would be the flash petrification. If anything. You're not gonna hit me, little dude. That is not gonna happen.
Life goes on.
Alright, first and foremost. There we go. Shield so nothing hurts me. I believe Raseo created the thing from people's mind, like how people perceive themselves. She created monsters representing how Kalpus views himself. Yeah. I mean, yeah, she can. That is something she can do, for sure. I'm not sold on Raseo as being the primordial one or being the one responsible for the creation of Tevat. I'm not sold on that. I don't know what it would take to sell me on the idea, but I feel like we're gonna find out in a few weeks anyway, so I don't recommend anyone try. Because we're just gonna find out anyway. Sandcap. Would you make a beginner's guide to Inazuma and Konamiya? Yes, I will. Those are things I do want to do. That's one of those dead patch projects I was talking about that I wanted to do. I'm doing the Iridori Festival next, and then I'm not quite sure what's next on my list. I have a list of things I'm doing. I just don't know which one's next, you know. I don't know what's next. I don't know anything. Ow. That was mean. Super mean. I'll get those. Robson, did you manage to get subtitle translators for my videos? Yes, I did. Currently, we're doing translations and subtitles on a voluntary basis while we kind of figure out the process and whether or not people even like doing it. And whether people use the subtitles, what languages people are most interested in, and that kind of thing. So right now, we are currently working on translating the Beginner's Guide to Mondstadt series because it's the most universal video on the channel currently. In terms of length, in terms of appeal, in terms of longevity, and everything like that. So that's what we're working on right now. We have 3 languages that are in progress currently. Like the translations are done and we're just doing timing. And we have 5 other languages that I think are still in progress. But it's not going to be a fast process by any means. Because, like I said, everything's voluntary for now while we're figuring things out. And you know, I don't... There's no way I'm going to pressure people to do translations quickly. Like... If people are nice enough to volunteer their time and their expertise to help make my videos more accessible, there's no way in heck that I'm ever going to pressure them for time. Like, they can take all the time they need, so it's not going to be a fast process. As long as people know that, I think everything's cool. Yeah. Fox Pup and Nori, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I just wanted to say hi and hope you and your pups are doing well. Me and my pups are doing very well. They're both very weird. As per, you know, it's probably a bit late for this, but remind me on a stream sometime to have Levi come over and talk into the mic, because I think that might be fun. He's very vocal, and he makes noises like a person. And I'd love to share that. I'd love to share that. But remind me later. Maybe later. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. I think I have like 10 questions left. And it keeps jumping around at me. Hang on. Here we go. I think I've got about 10 questions left, and I'm moving on. Sanguine, any thoughts on the Hexen Circle? Yes, many. I have a video planned for it, and then the chasm happened. So I did not get to it. That's another one of those videos that's on my list for, you know, the dead patch. So we'll see. We'll see if and when that happens. I have a weird feeling about Yellen having a potential link to the Hexen Circle. And the reason I say that is because of a symbol that's on the back of her outfit that matches a symbol that's on Klee's outfit. That I find really suspicious. But I think I'll save the rest of the speculations on that for the actual video when I get to it. But I don't think I'll do that video until after Yellen comes out, because I want to confirm a suspicion I have, and she'll be able to confirm that, and then I can make some more interesting speculations, I think, that have more basis. So I want to wait. Yeah. As far as timing goes, that's what that is. Purloin77, what do you think of the shriveled seed we find? And if we, I have answered this question twice on this stream, so I am going to ignore you now. No, not really. I'm not going to answer this question right now because it's something that was already answered in stream. So I'm not going to answer it again. You're welcome to scrubby slide through this like 3-hour stream. I don't actually think it's 3 hours. I think it's like 2, right? It's only been like 2.5, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, you can scrubby slide through. I think I've talked about it a couple of times in some different contexts. You might find that interesting. King Alex, do you think Istaroth will be relevant to the main story outside Shogun's story quest, and in what way? Yeah, I do. Mostly because I'm starting to think she might be related to this person that Dainsleif wants to save. I think one of the people we might be trying to save is the God of Time herself, so Istaroth, because I think she might be trapped somewhere and limited in her capacity to help us. Or there might be something fundamentally wrong with her as a result of whatever disasters have occurred. And maybe it's the God of Time that needs to be reawoken and refixed in order to fix everything. But I do think whoever it is, it's female, and I think it might be Istaroth. Which again might be one of Dainsleif's motivations, because there is someone that he wants to rescue, and a lot of people think it's like Lumine, based on the fact that the Travail trailer has Ether as the Traveler and Lumine as the Abyss Twin. I'm not convinced that it's that. I really think that he's talking about somebody else entirely. Especially with the fact that he's talking about the Intivat flowers and what we know of them now. And I'm really wondering if whoever he's talking about has a much deeper connection to Teyvat and not necessarily Conria than we're aware of. currently. But yeah, I think she'll be pretty important. And I think she'll be properly introduced in an Archon quest later. Fun fact, though, there's a lot of speculation out there about Istaroth being the one who's singing in the opening cutscene of the game. Not the opening cutscene, the loading screen of the game. Which would mean that she'd also be the one who's singing in all of the vocal tracks in Konamiya. And recently I've realized that there's one other place right now where there's vocals. And that is in a song that plays at the very end of the Sacred Sakura cleansing quest when the Sakura roots are blooming and Kazari disappears. The vocal lines play there as well. And what's really interesting about that is that Kazari was basically an amalgamation of memories. And there's like this weird implication that if Istaroth is the singer of that song, then that she might have been responsible for the existence of Kazari, which has weird implications that I don't even know how to articulate right now. But oh wow, Koriyuri. Thanks for the super chat, man. You don't have to keep doing that. I appreciate it either way, but like, wow, thank you. Another non-Genshin question, but have you ever played 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim? I'm not usually an RTS or mecha fan, but the plot twists, mind games are fantastic, and I think you'd enjoy it even in your own time. I have not played it, but it's on my list of Let's Plays to watch, because I don't think I'll actually have enough time to play it, and I'm not sure if I'll like the gameplay it has based on the footage I've seen of it. But the story did look interesting. But I think I'm gonna just put it on my list of games that I want to watch somebody else play. Those types of things, like I have a day job where this doesn't sound right, but I program for a living during the day, well, when I'm not doing Genshin stuff. And a lot of the programming that I do feels very mindless just because it's so ingrained in my system that I feel like I could program a lot of it in my sleep. And so when I'm doing that kind of programming, I often am troubleshooting and things like that. I often have like a Let's Play playing in the background, and I will just like absorb content that way on a second screen while I clickety clack away on my little keyboard. So I'll probably do that. I think I'll do that. I think that's yeah. I have lost my place in the chat, so I'm gonna guess where I was. I think I was here. 64 Nintendo fan. Do you think there will ever be lore for all those small spiders we randomly find that don't respawn? Maybe in Sumeru. Some of those spiders do respawn in the chasm, I've noticed. And those spiders did mutate in the chasm. They will actually suck out your lumen spar energy if you have full lumen spar and they hit you with their web. And the spiders in Liyue also respawn. Some of them do. Let me think. Let me think of where they are. I'm trying to think of. It's not here. It's not over here. It's not here. Maybe it's this one. I don't remember. I think it's this one. But I'm starting to think that those spiders might be like little spiders or small versions of the spiders that Albedo says he eats. Oh wait, no, it's not here. I know where it is. Jeez, what am I doing? It's in Luha. Yeah, it's over here. I can show you this. The spiders do respawn. Sharon Seo, a casual question. Sorry if you answered it already. Who do you plan on pulling for next? I'm pulling for Shinobu next. Because Ito needs a babysitter. And yeah. I'm really hoping that RNG will be gentle, because the last time I pulled for a 4-star, it was Toma. And he was on Hu Tao's banner, and Hu Tao came in the first 10 pull, and it took me like 6 more 10 pulls to get a single Toma. And then he sucked. I'm sorry, I love Toma, but like, listen, there's very few things in this game that will make him actually good. See, look, spiders. See them? They do respawn once a day. And they shoot things at you. Hi. It's really weird though, because like these aren't even like in the archive, but neither are those like those things on Dragonspine, the little 3-petaled robot things. Those aren't in the archive either. It's very strange. Hey, Teacup in Space, thank you so much for your super sticker. Do I call it a super sticker? Bravo, thank you, thank you. I don't know what you're applauding, but I appreciate it. And that's a cute little fox. No, it's a Shiba. It's a Shiba. Cute little Shiba. Little Goro. Tiny little Goro. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Where was I? Yep, I'm pulling for Shinobu, and then after that, I might pull for Sino. And then I might pull for Baizu. It just depends on when they come out. But after Shinobu, my next target is Scaramouche. Providing he doesn't die. I mean, there's a chance he will die. And if he dies, please let it be fighting Kazuha. Because I need that to happen. I'll be fine with him not being playable so long as I get a sword fight with him and Kazuha. I'll be totally fine with that. But if not, then until he's dead, I have a Scaramouche fund. So, yep. That's what I'm pulling for next. There's the thing. After that, I have no idea. I'm probably just gonna end up pulling for weapons because I don't have any idea who I'm pulling for after this. Arl, another question. What does freedom pertain? It's sort of a broad term, yet Venti doesn't seem all too willing to help in the case of Kamiya breaks out again in his voice line about Albedo. I'm not quite sure about the wording on this one. But in this one, it's just freedom of choice. Like, Venti doesn't think that people shouldn't be able to make their own decisions, right? He's like kind of like a parent that's like really absent. He'll show up once in a while if you're really in trouble and get you out of it, but ultimately he wants everything that happens to you, good or bad, to be your own choice. And that's the freedom of choice. It's really, it's almost like so weird to say, but like Venti's ideal is almost responsibility, which sounds funky. It's just that so long as you're responsible for your own actions, no matter how quote-unquote irresponsible those actions are, so long as you're taking responsibility for them, you know, you should have that freedom to choose. Oh my god, why do I keep slipping? That's how I understand it anyway. Lunaris, do you think we'll get to explore regions outside of Tevat, the continent? Seems there's more land out there like the Dark Sea, which is not entirely made of water. Yes, I do. I think we'll go to a lot of other places, but I think they'll all be like DLC regions. Like I think Marjavari is gonna be one of those sorts of regions. I don't think it's... Is it technically even in Tevat? That might even be in the Dark Sea. I think the Golden Apple Archipelago is technically currently in the Dark Sea. So you could argue that we've already been outside of Tevat. So yeah, I definitely think that's a thing. And it will become more of a thing as we go. Balkus, do you think Yellen is a harbinger or is a part of the Fatui? I don't. I think she might be a part of the Hexen Circle. Low key, yeah. I think Nintendo is anti-gacha. They might be anti-gacha, but they also own Fire Emblem Heroes, which is one of the top-grossing gacha games. So, like, they also do, like, Mario Kart Tour, which is a gacha they've got gotchas. I don't think they're totally anti-gotcha. I think they say they're anti-gotcha, but then they make some gotcha games. So gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole separate thing. Naga, I don't expect you to answer this, but this is just a fun little thing. Did you know you can glitch into the area with the light and the chasm with the roots only has rocks there, though? I did not know that. I'm not very good at glitching into things. That's pretty cool, though. I'd love to see a screenshot of that, like what's in there. Not because I think there's anything important in there right now, but just because I kind of like to see the devs process. Their thought process, you know? I think it's kind of cool. I think that's a neat thing to be able to see. Jonathan, what is the significance of the mechanical hands and the Archons have when they are in serious mode? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I think the hands are kind of meant to represent the hands of like a one supreme god or the heavenly principles. But like the significance of it, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I'd like to give you a better answer than that, but I don't have one. Ryan X official, let's think outside the box. What if the unknown god was actually one of the 4 shades of Phanis that got corrupted, being controlled by the second who came? Here's something interesting to note. The unknown god, the sustainer of heavenly principles there, she's basically a copy of the Hersher of the Void from Honkai Impact. And the Hersher of the Void was ironically the second Hersher. So in a lot of ways, you could think of the first 4 shades of the primordial one as being the first, second, third, and fourth Hersher. So it's possible that the second Hersher got corrupted in some way, or the second shade got corrupted, and that's the second who came. Because it would be the second who came into the being, not the second that arrived on the planet after the primordial one showed up, you know? So it really just depends on your perspective on how you want to define, how you want to perceive second. That's a fun little tidbit there. Whee! Bum, 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 bum. No. You no hit me.
Come into being.
You no hit me. Okay. I did the stuff that I said I was going to do before I said I wasn't taking any more questions, and I know there's questions after that, but we've been at this for like a really long time, and I think I'm done for right now. I think I'm a little questioned out. So I think I'm gonna cut it here. But before I go, I want to mention a few things. First off, as you all know, we're getting a patch delay of about estimated currently at 3 weeks, but there's been no official announcement on timing, so don't take that as a hard number. Take that as a rough estimate until MiHoYo says otherwise. We don't really know what's gonna happen, but right now is a really good time for people to go and play other games and have some other different experiences. I think it's good for people to kind of get out of Genshin for a few weeks. The reason being is because, like, when the patch is this dead, unless you're really behind on content, I think it's good to just pop in, do your dailies if you really want your primo gems, and then, you know, go do something else so you don't get burned out on it, so you don't feel like there's nothing to do all the time. And that way, when you kind of come back to it, Genshin will feel nice and fresh. And I think this is a good opportunity to kind of like have that little mini reset. I'm not gonna do that, but that's mostly because I'm okay with having a dead space because I make so much content and I have so much to do right now that, like, I don't know. And then I mentioned this a couple of times, but next video is upcoming. I'm working on the Iridori video next. And then what I'd like to do is do the beginner's guide to Inazuma. And from there, I might redo the Beginner's Guide to Liwa in order to include the Chasm, because I don't think that the Chasm is going to get its own video at this point. But that's kind of on the back burner until the next patch to see if they do add more Chasm stuff. So that's next upcoming. And then after that, we're going to see what I have in my queue, because the queue's been pretty long for a long time, and I kind of need to see what I feel like is highest priority. I'll probably do a couple of polls of content, like just to get a feel of like what you guys are most interested in. I do know that the Hexen Circle theory won the poll last time, followed by Kaya. And I think that will be what I go with, depending on the results of a couple of their polls based on new information that we got in the Chasm. So there's that. And yeah, so that's what's coming up. Probably gonna try and do a couple of shorter videos if I can. And I've been wanting to do a teapot stream for forever, but like, because we've been in maintenance mode, I can't do teapot stream. I really want to. I want to decorate a new teapot realm, but I guess that's on hold for like indefinitely. Yeah. I think that's it for now. I think that's it. I don't have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot else. I'm kind of looking forward to a break from content because we've been bombarded for a little bit. There's one other video I was gonna make before the new theory videos. I mentioned it earlier. I'm doing a Sumeru speculation video, a Dendro speculation video. Basically, I'm going to do a little bit of a speculation on here's the next 3 patches or so. And here's what I think's coming.
Can't catch me.
So look forward to that. I talked about a little bit of it today, but I have a lot more ideas. So that's also coming. And I think that's everything. I think that's everything. That's everything. Yep. Yep. Alrighty. Oh, wow. Hey. General Cat, thank you for your super chat, man. Love your videos. Well, I love you too. Thanks for showing up. And thanks for watching. Guys, I really appreciate all of you guys showing up to my streams. I appreciate you guys watching the videos and leaving comments. Like, I can't tell you how amazing it is to like go through the comments, and I do read every single one of them, whether they're critical of the theories or supporting it or confused, or it doesn't even matter. Like, I read every single one. And it just amazes me like how thoughtful every comment is. And I don't mean thoughtful as in like nice. I mean thoughtful as in you guys put a lot of thought into these. Like there are comments that are paragraphs and paragraphs long and deserve like there's some observations in there that I think are just so amazing. So if you guys are ever like really into a theory or a topic that came up in one of my theories, please make sure to check out the comments, because like the comments on the videos left by all of you are such a joy to read. They really are. And I just want to let you guys know that I really appreciate it. And I really enjoy reading them. And sometimes it takes me a while to get through all of them, because there's a lot of them and they're all very long, and I want to be able to give them the attention that they deserve given how much effort you guys put into making them. But I just love the fact that they exist. So I wanted to make that clear. And yeah, so thanks for showing up to this stream. I'll probably stream a little bit more, maybe slightly more regularly in the next couple of weeks, just because we're gonna have some downtime. Maybe I'll keep you guys entertained. And yeah, so I'm gonna head out for now. But thanks again for showing up. I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. I hope the weather is lovely wherever you are. Happy spring if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and happy fall if you're not. And yeah, I'll check you guys next time. Yeah. And we'll get Levi to talk on stream. He'll come talk. Just someone remind me. Oh, Teacup in Space. Thank you for the little goodbye super chat. That's adorable. I love that sticker. Thank you. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you next time.